those here in Geneva and those who are, I can see people here on the screen, a couple of vice chancellors from Libya. I can see Professor Petru from London, this is the one I just gathered. So good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everyone. Because I work quite a lot with people from all over the world, many times I email Professor Neom from Indonesia, Allam, this is too late. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. So with the time difference, some people are now, I know they are going to sleep, some are just working, but good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. It's a great pleasure. We've been in this room, coincidentally, the same room we have been here 2018, the same room. I remember Petru was here, I was sitting on the other side. I think I'm on your right-hand side. But really a good coincidence. This is the same room we last time been here 2018. I remember a few faces, they were here, Professor Sadiq, Professor Beverly, and I think Angie is coming from Emirates, he was here. So since then we haven't met. We met in 2019, sorry, in London, and then the COVID. But to start with, it's a great pleasure to welcome you all to the 22nd International Sustainability Annual Conference of the World Association for Sustainable Development. This is the second time to be held here at the Palestinian in the United Nations office. And also we had held one at the International Maritime Organization in London. Now, we are very grateful to Her Excellency, Dr. Tatiana Volovoy, the Director General of the United Nations Office in Geneva, for hosting us for the second time this is her office or her palace, if you like. We are very grateful to get that support. And also, I think many people may not know, she is the first woman to hold this office. And that's in itself a very positive message. So the United Nations office in Geneva, the first woman to hold that office is Dr. Tatiana, who just left us. And also, I think the UN has done a lot of work on the Sustainable Development Goals, remarkable work, really. Despite any critique, the work and this SDGs is just a roadmap for countries to achieve. We are also, as Dr. Petru said, very grateful to the permanent mission of the State of Qatar at the United Nations office in Geneva for their full support and facilitating this conference with the different departments at the United Nations office in Geneva. We very much appreciate the full support provided to the conference by Her Excellency Dr. Hind Al-Muftah, the permanent representative of the State of Qatar to the UN office in Geneva. Her support to this conference is of no surprise. Those from WSD, they will not find that a surprise. She stood up immediately in London. I said, come to Geneva. Because Dr. Hind, or Her Excellency Dr. Hind, is one of us. She's one of WSD. She's one of, actually, with the founder. She came to WSD conferences before. I remember her still in Brighton. I think Beverly, you might remember, in 2008. She is a very serious academics from the Arab countries. She contributed to our publications in the free journals. She had written chapters in our book. Her journey with WSD, she chaired sessions on the women conferences. She spoken, she moderated. So we always see Dr. Hind as one of us, the same like a Sadiq, like Professor Beverly. So we are very grateful for her support. And it's no surprise, she's always been connected with us, even after she became very busy with her role as a permanent secretary. So, sorry, as the permanent representative of Qatar here. She believes in all the work we do at WASD, and hence her support. For those who are just new to WSD, WASD is a global forum that brings people from all over the world to discuss key issues relating to the world's sustainable development. We started in 1999 officially, and many people, they don't know this. I think we got people from the Prime Minister Office youth program from Pakistan, and I think we got speakers from Pakistan. You should be pleased, our colleagues and young generations. This WSD started at the University of Karachi, 1999. I went with the UK Science and Technology-based forum in one of their international conference. It was hosted by the University of Karachi. That's the first time I went to that event. So we went to Karachi, and in the conference, I was one of the youngest at that time. I asked the question at that time, and I said to them, this is tremendous research is happening in this room from America, UK. It's actually the UK-based science and technology. But what is the value if the knowledge we all have in this room does not really directly or indirectly affect the lives of people whom we are serving? Then the next day, I think it was 3 days conference, I said, if people in the community around these universities, they do not really benefiting from these universities. So what is the value of the publication, the books, and all that stuff? The second day, we've been taken to visit, I don't think it's a refugee camp. It's a camp being built by the World Bank support outside Karachi. They are building a small village for displaced people in Pakistan. And I remember I met a child, almost 7 or 8 years old. And I asked her, I have the picture, but it's not with me. And I said to her, what do you want for your future? And I remember this child, I have the picture from 1999. He said to me, I want to study, I want the school. So that means I will have a better chance in the future, because she was displaced. And then I asked a couple of people from the World Bank, and I said, you just showed us you're going to build a computer lab for these kids. Have you thought about having a toilet for them? Having kitchen is more important than the computer at that time. And they looked at me and they said, but we start to realize there's a disconnection between research and science and technology than what we actually do at university. In 2009, after we started WSD, I was invited by the University of Cambridge to give a talk at Cambridge University. And the invitation came to me. The title of the session is still that session available in their website. International development. Do we give mobile phones or a toilet paper? And I read it 3 times. That was Cambridge. They were teasing us by that question. Do we should give development fund, which is by toilet paper, they were referring to support developing countries by funding, or we give them mobile phones. So the 3 of us went there and it was a big discussion. So I realized we are going in the right track. So that's what is WSD. We wanted to really connect you, the experts, with the real problems happening in the world. And I'm very pleased. After a long campaign at WSD in 2021, the Times Higher Ranking start to rank universities based on their impact on the society. So the ranking at that time, 2021, is how good you are in terms of impact, not about just publications. So I think we might be going on the right direction. So WASD is a unique global forum, brings together people from across the world to discuss issues to do with sustainable development. We want to promote the exchange of knowledge, expertise, information, and ideas, among others. We aimed at this conference, when we got the okay to come to Geneva, to pull together a conference that will focus on some of the key policies and challenges facing the entire world. And it is certainly an exciting, if uncertain, time to hold this conference. The conference aims to address key questions, practical and theoretical, of how to accelerate the base of the United Nations Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development, like the Director General just said, and its Sustainable Development Goals, implementation. At halfway of its finishing line, that's the statement of Petru. Yes, only 6 years left, because it's supposed to be 2030. Now, and the vital role of the educational institution in driving forward the implementation of the Agenda 2030 and Sustainable Development Goals. And I believe the Director General said the same. Universities should really lead on this. Following was successful conference co-organized with the Joint Inspection Unit. At that time, Dr. Petru was the inspector at the Joint Inspection, and he was instrumental in connecting us with the United Nations. But Petru, you deserve all the credit, and we should really give you a bigger props for what you have done really. Many of my colleagues told me from 2017, I'm not trying to make us old here, they said to me, through Petru and the engagement with the United Nations, we start to learn this organization is really good. In a way, they are really serious to engage with people. Petru, he traveled all the way to the Kingdom of Bahrain to attend our 17th international conference. He came, he sat in a conference like this, was hosted by the Prime Minister of Bahrain, to see how we are doing. So he was testing us. So we left him alone to enjoy in the conference. And then he wrote us a letter, very long letter, to my Vice Chancellor, expressing his interest of the United Nations to come here and share the same platform with them in 2018 about the public-private partnership for the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. We have a couple of books outside, copy of that conference. So we started to learn this United Nations is really keen on research. And we can also start to see that the United Nations is really keen to listen to everyone. And in one time, I remember Dr. Petru and others, they told me they like what WSD is doing because it brings them very close to regions which are normally not easy to find them, particularly Africa and the Arab countries. If you put Allam Ahmed, easily you will get him out because the system in the UK or Europe is very easy to bring academia out. But if you put Allam Ahmed outside in Africa or Middle East, it's very difficult to find him. So findability, and that's why we work very hard to connect with Africa, with Middle East and Arab countries, and of course, we extend. That doesn't mean we don't take America or UK with more emphasis, but because there is much available, we want to connect the global south. So quickly, following this conference, we really become more encouraged. In 2019, we organized another one in London. The conference will focus, not limited to the following: the status of implementation of national commitment, lots of case studies we're going to discuss, increasing the role of the universities in implementation of the SDGs, improving public health and well-being, using artificial, and in this improving, if you don't mind me, we have two of the top, what I call them, doctors or in the health sector from the UK with us here. In these people, by the way, sitting here, these people here really top of the top. So we got Professor Suhair, who is one of the best surgeons in the country, and we have Dr. Amani, top leading in child psychiatrician. I hope you don't need her to treat any of your children, but she is one of the top. We have people here with tremendous experience. I'm really pleased. We have lots of experts here. And using artificial intelligence to accelerate development of poor countries. Again, we got top will here from artificial intelligence expert, Manuel, Rawad, and others. And there's many others. We're going to involve them. The conference will aim to analyze selected voluntary national reports. The UN asks countries to submit every year, not every year, but to submit national review report, to submit what we have done, how good we are, what we did, what are the challenges, so people can learn lessons. Quickly, COVID has been a problem, and it has stopped us even from seeing each other. The last time we saw these people was 6 years ago, before COVID. But there is other issues we need to look at them. Because one example, or there's many examples, many countries have still made progress to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. I can remember in the BBC 2 months or 3 months ago, I was watching the BBC, and they said China exceeded expectations of the electric cars, production of electric cars. So the number of electric cars now in China is exceeding the expectations. So you can see some countries are making progress. Saudi Arabia is another example. I went to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia in the late 90s, early 2000, by the United Nations report in transportation traffic accident report, not my statistic, it's the UN statistic. Riyadh city, as example, is one of the top cities in the world in the number of car accidents every day. Riyadh city. Now it's almost down. And when I asked the Saudi at the Ministry of Health, what is the reason you were on the top of the number of accidents? You are now dramatically reduced. The answer to Saudi Arabia are the following: education. People become more educated, which is SDG 4. Number 2, SDG 16, law. If you cross the signal in Saudi Arabia, maybe there's lots of people from Saudi Arabia, correct me if I'm wrong, the penalty is almost 500 pounds. Am I right? Just from Saudi Arabia. 3,000 riyal. When I told my colleagues, my friends in London, they didn't believe me. I said, okay, if you don't believe me, go to Saudi Arabia, rent a car, and cross the signal. 500 pounds. So you can see, to solve a problem like this, you have to use education, you have to use the law, and so on and so on. So really, these SDGs are working. Some countries have made progress, and so on. Now, universities are considered to be, by many scholars, there is no dispute about this, should be in the front line. And the reason for universities to lead the way in countries, because all these 17 Sustainable Development Goals and the behind the scene, innovation, engineering, technology, environmental, health, well-being, is all taught at universities. However, what I found is surprising, 2 things. This is my critique for universities. I was in a country, I can't name it here at the UN conference, and I made a reference to the country own report submitted by the government, signed by the president of that country to the UN. And I quoted something from that report. Then on their vision 2030 or 2040, I can't remember, some of the academicians, that country, they said to me, where did you see this report? I said, this is a report submitted by your own government to the UN. I am foreigners. I thought I will give you the best citation from your own country report to the United Nations. I notice in many countries, some academicians within country, they don't even know there is a report submitted by their own country, number one. Number two, I asked one minister from one country, this is a very decent report, well done. Who wrote this? Is it university professor? He said to me, no, one of the top 4 consultants. You know, the top 4, Deloitte and so on. I found it very strange. Country report should be written by whom? By the academicians, the professors. You have many universities in the country, bring their expert. They write this report. So you can see there is a lot of work to be done in terms of public policy and government. I don't want to take too long of your time. We hope the presentation we selected for this conference will help to stimulate debate among scholars, sages, and policymakers, and that you will find this conference interesting and thought-provoking. We would like to congratulate the authors. Their papers, I think, is almost done, finished, for their valuable contribution, and we are grateful to our track chairs and many reviewers for graciously offering their invaluable comments that have enriched the quality of the paper in this conference and its related publication, and for making available to us their valuable time and effort. I would like to thank all the members of WAST organizing committee, particularly, and I want you to give her a big round of applause, Janet Snow. Janet, I think there is no title for Janet because she really knows everything about it. She knows people by their face, and she knows even their behavior. So be very careful when you communicate with her. Oh, Sadiq, I remember Sadiq. Beverly, I know. So we start when we have time. Normally, we don't find that time. We have like a psychometric think about people who we deal with them. So, Janet, thank you very much for all your hard work. Komar, I hope he's watching us from India. Komar is an intelligent expert IT from India. He helped us in translating the ideas we have here into this platform, which you'll see. Komar, I hope you're listening to us. Suhail Dait, Suhail is a Tunisian in UAE. He's one of our lead graphic designers. This nice, you see your picture, you like your photos. This team, it's not me. So big round of applause. Joseph Navarirangi, the director of e-publishing. And then we have all people, summaries helping us as executives, and also the volunteer from across the world. We have volunteers, we are very proud of them from all over the world, from Saudi Arabia, from the UK. These are some of them. Give them a big applause. Where are the other ones? These people are working to some extent. Some people say, Allam, you can't be asking these people this question. They are volunteers, Allam. I said, but the problem, I have to deal with people. We are working together. Really, we ask them more than the people who work full time. So apologies for all of you and those who are listening to us from China. We have a fantastic team from China. They have done a lot of work. It's challenging to communicate. You have to use WeChat, not the WhatsApp, which we use in the UK. But fantastic. I really, I don't know if there is, I can see there is a representative from China. Your young generations have done a huge work. So on behalf of the WSD, all those students from China, we're really grateful for what they have done. They have built lots of the data entering this system. A very robust and successful. We have students from Saudi Arabia, from Emirates, from India, from Africa, of course, Sudan, from the UK. Now, finally, I would like also to thank the endless support we received from Mr. Al-Ubaid Al-Amin and Ms. Johara Abdul Aziz Al-Suwaidi and the other team from the Qatari mission here in Geneva. And also, we would like to thank all those people from the UN. There are 4 departments I have been dealing with them. One of them is the people who you can't see them, they're up there doing the live streaming. People are watching us now. They are doing the audio. This is a very hard job. Even at the university, we normally don't get it easy. Where we're going to eat the lunches, they help us. We're going to eat with them. And also, so the audio visual, the video, the webmaster, all of them somewhere there. You have seen them in the morning, highly professional people. And the good thing, this is broadcasted live, is recorded, and also the conference management team and many others. So officially, as the chair of the conference, I hereby declare officially opening of this conference, and I wish you a very happy and enjoyable time in this historical and beautiful palace and this great city, Geneva. I really want you to enjoy the conference. One final words. My daughter is here. She might say that when you start the thinking of the holiday. Then you start where we're going. We go to the Netherlands, we go to Amsterdam, or we go to Tunisia, whatever. And then you start thinking of the flight. You start thinking of what is the cheap option, blah, 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 all that. The day you actually go to King Cross, I said this to my daughters last year, when we are actually in the train, the Eurostar, and they still talking about the flat where we're staying. I said, now is the time to enjoy the holiday. So I want you all now is the time to enjoy this conference. So please take everything away, the papers, the reminders, the harsh emails you receive. Now is the time. Enjoy the conference until you fly back on Thursday or Friday or Saturday. Thank you very much.